Stephon Masha started his second game of his career today against 11-0 Coastal Carolina. Alex Ross hands off to D'Angelo Henderson, who scores from 19 yards out. That put Coastal up 14-3. Masha drops back and finds Darren Peterson, who takes it 72 yards to the house. Liberty would go for two and fail. Flames down 14-12. After a 75-yard drive, John Lunsford connects from 32 yards. The Flames take the lead with 1:20 left. Coastal would drive late. Alex Cattern comes out for a game-winning field goal, but it's blocked. Liberty comes away with the upset, 15-14.
God be the glory. He blocked that field goal. God blocked the field goal. And we just look forward to the future. And I thank all of our fans, more importantly, our players. They showed great resilience, great belief.
I just took off. I was like, we won. Like, the first thing that came to my mind, I hit it. It's not going in, and I just took off running because I knew we won.
We got the hump off our back. We were able to cross that road, get over those train tracks. And now the sky's the limit for us. People still don't believe that we can even go far. And I think we got a chance.
Liberty comes away with the victory, knocking off number 1 ranked Coastal Carolina, punching its ticket to the FCS playoffs for the first time in school history. In Conway, South Carolina, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
There's been ups and downs, but I think it's pretty clear to everybody that we can go out there and score on anybody in the country, and then we can, turn it around and, get beat up by anybody in the country.
The Hokies had some bumps in the road in the first half with 2 turnovers, but cleaned it up after halftime.
I still think we're a work in progress. When I started this thing, I said I felt like it's going to go through some bumps, and that's the kind of football team we got.
One thing going for the Hokies were freshman running backs Marshawn Williams and Shai McKenzie, who combined for 206 yards on the ground.
I'm glad to see some cracks there and our guys running down the field and then being able to fake and get some throws off.
For it actually to, start to happen, and we starting to get it in more. That's big. We started to get in our groove.
The Hokies dominated on the ground today, rushing for 308 yards, but it could have come at a cost. Freshman running back Shai McKenzie left in the fourth quarter with a knee injury. In Blacksburg, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
During last night's World Cup win, you may have noticed the American Outlaws, a group of loyal fans that supports the U.S. team. Just what are they all about? ABC 13's Brian Weitzel found out.
The American Outlaws are 18,000 members strong, have 125 chapters nationally, and over 500 traveled to Brazil for the World Cup.
They are pretty much the supporters for the United States men's national team. And then all across the country, each city kind of has their own chapter.
To be an official chapter, you must have 25 members and a bar to host viewing parties for every game. The Lynchburg chapter meets at Apocalypse Ale Works in Forest. Last night, they hit the 25-member requirement.
We just hit our number 25. We're an official chapter. The next step is we get to create our own official badge, our own logo.
Interest in U.S. soccer peaks during the World Cup, bringing in many new fans. But for the Outlaws, it's a year-round commitment.
You're all connected into one organization, which is passionate about American soccer.
Here in Virginia, the Outlaws' popularity has soared. Last year, the Outlaws only had chapters in Virginia Beach and Richmond. This year, they've added ones in Charlottesville, Roanoke, and Lynchburg. Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports. The Hokies and Flames met for the first time since 2007. Malik Mueller steals the ball and passes to Justin Bibbs, who lays it in for Tech. Liberty hanging tough, though. Joe Reddick finds Tomas Giello for 3. Flames up 9-7. Bibbs swings the ball to Devin Wilson, who finds Mueller for the corner 3 that put the Hokies up by 3. Jalen Hudson finds Bibbs, who hangs in the air for the 2. Tech knocks off Liberty 73-63.
He's the best human being I know, and he absolutely changed my life. And it was the most uncomfortable game that I've ever coached in. And being very frank with you, I would say that's part of the reason why we weren't very good in the first half.
Their ability to knock down threes and get to the rim was very impressive. Buzzard's got them playing exactly the way they need to play, and to give them a chance. They play extremely hard.
The Flames made it a game late, pulling within 6 points with less than 4 minutes to go, but down the stretch, the Hokies were just too much as they get the victory and improve to 2-0. In Blacksburg, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
Hi, everybody. As predicted, rain played the spoiler today at Martinsville Speedway. Officials held off as long as they could before rescheduling the Camping World Truck Series race. Brian Weitzel is live trackside with the latest, including an interesting schedule for tomorrow. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, Dennis, they came in at about 4:15 this afternoon and told us that the trucks race has been delayed until after tomorrow's Cup race. Now, they had the jet dryers running all day in hopes of racing 250 laps. Timothy Peters was optimistic they would see the green flag, but the rain continued and the crews started to pack up after the race was called off. The track won't have any rubber on it, which affects tire wear for tomorrow's Cup race, but that's something Timothy Peters isn't worried about for his race after the Cup race.
The only thing that we have to look at is the track didn't take much rubber yesterday with our practice or the Cup practice. So, but with 500 laps of racing, you know, there's going to be something put down. So you have to anticipate that, really pay attention to their tire wear, and just try to make the best educated guess for us.
And fans won't go home disappointed that if you had a ticket to today's truck race, they're going to allow you in at the 100 lap mark of tomorrow's Cup race. Live at the Martinsville Speedway, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
With 3 weeks left in the college football regular season, the Hokies have a shot to face Florida State in the ACC championship game. In order to do so, Tech has to beat Maryland and UVA and have Duke lose one of its final 3 games against Miami, Wake Forest, or Carolina. Tech got this far by taking down the Hurricanes last night. Brian Weitzel has more from Miami.
Virginia Tech has turned the ball over 8 times in their last 2 games, but the tides turned against the Hurricanes. Logan Thomas was responsible for all 8 turnovers, but against Miami, it was a different story.
I thought Logan was exceptional. He was exceptional last week, except for about 2 plays. I mean, he had a tremendous performance, and I thought he was fantastic.
The Hokies put up 549 yards of offense, 408 of which was on the arm and legs of Logan Thomas.
We envisioned being able to throw it for 3 and run for 152, and you know we did so tonight first time. But you know I got to give it to the offensive line. They made the throw game, and then they made the run game look great.
Tech ran for 183 yards, most of which came from J.C. Coleman and Trey Edmonds.
Coaches put a great game plan ahead of us. All we had to do was execute it. And like the coaches always say, if you take care of the ball, you have a really good chance of winning at the end.
The Hokies still need help to win the Coastal Division, but up next, a game against Maryland at home. In Miami Gardens, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
It was a tough night for the Hokies as they traveled to Pittsburgh to face the Panthers. ABC 13 photographer Brian Weitzel was at the game. He has the highlights and lowlights from there.
The Hokies fall last night, 21-16 to the Pitt Panthers. They are now 1-2 in the ACC, putting them in a must-win situation for the rest of the season. The Hokies offense struggled in this game, gaining only 61 total yards in the first half and only managed 291 for the game.
We're not consistent enough. There's no question about that. No question. And, you know, we've got to keep working and, you know, got a lot of football to play.
With its top 3 running backs out with injury, Tech could not establish the run game, rushing for just 26 yards.
Extremely disappointed. Thought the kids had a great week of preparation, and the fact of the matter is we didn't get it done at all.
It wasn't just one group, it was kind of like a whole offensive deal, and just kind of hurt us.
The Panthers pinned Tech deep with 5 drives starting inside of its own 12-yard line.
We were backed up quite a few times, and you know, in obvious pass situations. And, you know, they were able to drop a lot of people out and do a lot of different things.
They did a good job. I mean, they ran the ball, they punted us deep. They ran the ball, they punted us deep. And we had our chances. And even with all said and done, how poor we ran the ball, you had a chance to win at the end and didn't.
Virginia Tech is 0-4 at Heinz since it opened in 2001, and they've lost 5 of their last 6 to the Panthers. In Pittsburgh, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
Everybody, Virginia Tech tries to improve to 3-0 this season on the road tonight as the Hokies battle Pittsburgh, 7:30 at Heinz Field. Our Brian Weitzel made the trip to Pittsburgh and joins us live now from Heinz Field. Hello, Brian.
The Hokies' rushing attack has been much better the last 2 weeks, averaging 4.6 yards a carry, but it has come at a price. Tech has lost its top 3 running backs in the last 2 games. J.C. Coleman and Joel Caleb will carry the load tonight as the Hokies hope to continue to run well despite the losses of Williams, McKenzie, and Edmonds. Sam Rogers will also see an increased role on offense, something quarterback Michael Brewer is confident he's ready for.
He'll be a guy that'll help the other backs get lined up, and if they've got any questions, he'll get them right. He probably knows the offense better than anybody in the whole football facility. He's a smart guy, and you know, he also helps with some of the young receivers getting lined up and stuff like that. So he's a guy that you can count on.
The bottom line is they're always a very physical football team. They're always very tough. They don't beat themselves. Tough team to beat.
And Panthers kick off in a little over an hour on ESPN. Live in Pittsburgh, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
Welcome back, everyone. 1 week after taking down UVA, Duke came back to the Commonwealth and took down Virginia Tech. It's the Blue Devils' first road win against a ranked team since 1971. The Hokies had never lost to Duke inside Lane Stadium. Duke's Anthony Boone threw 4 interceptions. Freshman Kendall Fuller picked off 3 of them, but Tech couldn't turn any of them into points, and they trailed 6-0 at the half. In the second half, Duke's up 6. Boone finds the corner. He's into the end zone. Duke up 13-zip. Tech's ball on their own 1-yard line. Logan Thomas deep to Dimitri Knowles for 56 yards. Later in that drive, Thomas takes it himself. He's in for the touchdown to make it 13-7. The defense gave Tech plenty of chances to score, but Cody Jernell missed 2 field goals, and Thomas was also intercepted 4 times. And the Hokies lose 13-10. Brian Weitzel has more from Blacksburg.
The Hokies had an extra week to prepare for the Duke Blue Devils, but miscues would cost them. Tech's offense could move the ball against Duke, gaining 387 yards, but turnovers were the downfall for the Hokies. Quarterback Logan Thomas threw 4 interceptions in the game, one coming when the Hokies had a 3rd and goal from the 6.
We were able to pick our spots. At times I was just missing my spots, but no, we were able to do a lot of what we wanted to do.
The offense would also struggle on 3rd downs, converting only 4 of 18.
We got to come out there and be more sharp and be able to convert those third downs and 4th downs and just be able to make plays. We didn't make a whole lot of plays tonight.
On special teams, kicker Cody Jernell would miss 2 field goals, one which would have tied the game late in the 4th quarter.
I'm concerned anytime a guy as steady as Cody, misses 2, but we'll look at it. I know there was some pressure on that last one. I don't know exactly what happened on that one.
The Hokies defense played well, forcing 4 turnovers with Kendall Fuller nabbing 3 interceptions, but it wouldn't be enough for the Hokies fall to the Blue Devils. In Blacksburg, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
Brian Weitzel was at the track yesterday for qualifying and is back tonight. From what you're hearing, do the drivers seem to like the new knockout qualifying format?
Yeah, Dennis, they were a little skeptical at first, but most of the drivers are really enjoying it, even its biggest critic, Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson has won here 8 times and will start in 4th. He's looking for his first win of this year.
It's not uncommon for us to get a little deeper in the season before we start winning, and statistically, I think the end of the year is where we heat up the most. So, you know what, we got a good track here. Dover's coming up soon. There's a lot of good opportunities for us.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. hasn't won at the paperclip, but has come close several times. He finished in the top 10 5 of his last 7 races here. He will start 26th.
I grew up in a house full of clocks, so it's been one that's been pretty elusive.
Jeff Gordon is coming off a win here last fall. He hopes that translates to his 9th win at the half mile. He starts 5th. Denny Hamlin didn't race last week because of metal in his eye. That didn't stop him from qualifying 2nd, and teammate Kyle Busch wins the pole. Yeah, Kyle Busch wasn't the fastest in the first round of knockout qualifying, but that's what's great about this new format. He still sits on the pole.
Thank you, Brian. Here's a look at the top 10 starters for tomorrow's STP 500. We've got time for some quick predictions. Back to the track one more time. Heather and Brian, who's going to win tomorrow? Heather, start us off.
Well, I'm going to go with number 18, Kyle Busch. He won at the pole yesterday. I think he has a pretty good shot at taking home that grandfather clock.
Brian? I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin myself. I'm going with Denny. He was the fastest in practice. Joey Logano's been quick, and so has Kyle Busch, Heather's pick. But I'm going to stick with Denny.
Have you guys forgotten about the Hendrick dominance at Martinsville? Jeff Gordon won the fall race. I think his teammate will take this one. My pick is Jimmie Johnson, the 48, to nail down his 9th win at Martinsville.
The Virginia Cavaliers are off to their best conference start since 1995. The Hoos look to improve to 6-1 in the ACC today as they faced off with in-state rival Virginia Tech. Brian Weitzel has more from Charlottesville.
Virginia Tech has been struggling lately, losing 8 of 9 games, and today against the Cavaliers, they would struggle from the field. The Hokies would only shoot 33% from the field and only 3 of 18 from behind the arc.
When Eddie goes 1 for 7, I mean, it's tough for us to make threes, and then, you know, Will Johnston wasn't able to get any of the clean looks off really tonight.
Joe Harris and the Cavaliers pulled away from Tech after a 10-0 run and would have the lead at the half, 34-17.
We kind of just jumped on them, and then it just seemed like, I don't know, we just kind of kept it there the entire game, and I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of exciting plays happening other than Tevin's dunk.
Sophomore Malcolm Brogdon would have a big game as he connected on 60% of his shot attempts to lead Virginia with 18 points.
Offense was clicking. I think we were getting the shots we wanted. I don't even think it was especially clicking for me. I think it was clicking for other people, and I just happened to be the end product of it. I had a lot of open shots.
With the win, Virginia improves to 15-5 overall with a 6-1 mark in the ACC. Up next, a tough task, traveling to Notre Dame to take on the Fighting Irish. In Charlottesville, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
For a certain period of time during their course. Once they're done, they'll return it. Sprint Cup drivers qualified late this afternoon at Martinsville to set the field for Sunday's Goody's Headache Relief Shot 500. ABC 13's Brian Weitzel tells us who's going to be leading the pack.
Clint Boyer was the fastest during practice, but the question was who was going to win the pole for Sunday's race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. starts 12th, looking to improve his chase standings.
You know, I've been trying to chase a trophy here for a very long time, come really close on several occasions, and maybe this is the weekend.
Jeff Gordon has been to victory lane 7 times here at Martinsville, and he rolls out 9th Sunday.
You know, we come in here feeling really good about this racetrack and our race team. You know, we've had a lot of positive things that have happened to us over the last 6 weeks.
Last week at Talladega, Matt Kenseth had a disappointing finish of 20th. He comes in 4 points behind Jimmie Johnson for the chase lead.
I know that we need to come in and perform, and we need to run up front, and we need to get a good finish because you can almost pencil the 48 in. I mean, anything can happen, but past history shows that they're pretty hard to beat here.
Jimmie Johnson, who has dominated at Martinsville lately, will start 2nd. After missing the spring race with a broken back, Denny Hamlin shakes off the rust and wins the pole.
Obviously disappointing not to be able to run the spring, but I knew coming back here, and this is the one race I have circled on my list of tracks that we can get a win before the race season's over with. And
Joe Gibbs Racing was the big winner of qualifying today, with Hamlin taking the pole, Kyle Busch starting 2nd, and Matt Kenseth starting 4th. In Martinsville, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
It should be a great weekend for racing at Martinsville. Well, how many times have you had to upgrade your cell phone?
The offseason has been a whirlwind for the Cavaliers, with firing of coaches and their top 2 quarterbacks transferring. But one positive, bringing in Coach Tom O'Brien.
There's respect there. There's an opportunity to listen to another coach who's been there, done that, so to speak. There's no ego. It's all about trying to move Virginia forward and help Virginia win.
Situation will be determined sooner rather than later. David Wadford and Grayson Lambert are battling for the starting job.
We will, early in August camp, be definitive on who the starter will be, because both of them have the type of talent and skill level to help this football team win.
Naming a starting quarterback and sticking with them throughout the year could be what the Cavaliers need to get back on the winning track. In Greensboro, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports. The media picked Virginia Tech to finish second in the Coastal Division. Head coach Frank Beamer says that's possible, but they're not quite there yet.
I think we got a good starting point. We got a good defense, we got a good quarterback, we got good kickers, and to me that's a good starting point. I think we've got some talented players there in the offense. Some of them's going to have to come along and play probably better than they should.
Namely the running backs and wide receivers. Those are the two positions where the Hokies are inexperienced.
I think the key for us is how quickly some young guys come around and play at what maturity level in the offensive line. Running backs, Trey Edmonds, he's never not been on the field, much less been on the field against a team like Alabama.
After Michael Holmes was released from the Hokies earlier this offseason, Dan River native Trey Edmonds will have to develop quickly for the Hokies to have any hope of success. In Greensboro at the ACC football kickoff, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports. Head coach Mike London still hasn't named his starter for the upcoming season, but he isn't worried about either Wofford or Lampert not being ready for when BYU comes to Charlottesville for the season opener.
No, there won't be any issues with who'll be the guy, because we'll give him plenty of reps to get ready for the season.
Neither quarterback has much game experience. Watford only has completed 30 passes in his career, and Lampert has never attempted a pass. Offensive coordinator Steve Fairchilds, though, isn't worried about the inexperience at the position.
I think whoever it is has a chance to be a very good player. We're going to be young, but I think we'll be very good at that spot.
Watford heads into fall camp on top of the depth chart, but knows he still has a lot to prove to hold on to the job.
I feel like I still have work to do. I feel like even though Coach London has named me, number one going into camp, I feel like that doesn't mean anything. Like I still have a lot of work to do.
For Lampert, he knows he isn't as mobile as Watford, so for him to take away the starting job, he has got to make quicker decisions with the football.
I'm trying to get faster with the knowledge of the game and my decision making. If I can run a 4.4 up here, then I feel like that'll be good for me.
Once a starter is named, the other's going to do whatever's asked of him to help the Cavaliers win. In Charlottesville, Brian Weitzel, ABC 13 Sports.
Welcome back, everyone. East Carolina had averaged 41 points in 2 wins, but that offense had yet to go against Bud Foster's Virginia Tech defense. Tech had 7 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and 3 interceptions in today's win. The lone blemish for Tech's D came on the Pirates' opening possession. Shane Carden fakes the handoff and finds Bryce Williams from 22 yards out. ECU up 7-0. The Hokies would have an answer. Logan Thomas finds Dimitri Knowles from 30 yards out. Brookville to LCA. Ball game tied 7-7 at the half. In the third quarter, Thomas fakes the handoff to Trey Edmonds, and he finds DJ Coles for the touchdown to put the Hokies on top 13-10. Tech's kicking game was no help today. Cody Durnell missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Fittingly, the defense put the game away. James Gale gets the sack, forces a fumble. Tech gets the safety and the win, 15-10. Brian Weitzel has more from Greenville.
At first, it looked like East Carolina's potent offense was going to have its way with the Tech defense as they marched down the field on their opening drive with ease to score a touchdown.
I think guys just had to get adjusted. I knew right after the first drive, I was like, that's not going to continue to happen. I think some adjustments were made, and we just had to get used to their tempo. They're a fast tempo team.
And after those adjustments, the defense became aggressive, forcing 3 Pirates interceptions. True freshman Brandon Faison had a huge game in his second career start, tallying 2 of the ECU turnovers.
My coach called me on the phone, and he was like, if you see this, do this. And I saw that the next drive, and I just ran inside of it, and I just picked it.
After the offense failed to pick up a 4th and 1, it was up to the defense who had to put the game out of reach as James Gale came up with a safety that put the Hokies up by 5 late in the 4th.
Oh, I just beat the tackle I beat the tackle and I came across, and I think sorry about that. I kind of just knocked the arm down.
Kicker Cody Janelle said today's the worst game he's ever played, but the defense led the Hokies to victory. At East Carolina University, Brian Weitzel, ABC